Well, this past week I stumbled upon an old check stub for my very first job out of college. I was a youth minister in Atlanta at a small Presbyterian church. Now, this was a part-time position because I couldn't find anything full-time, and I got paid $781.06. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, David, that's not a bad starting salary for someone who just graduated for a week's worth of work. But you would be wrong. Because you see, that wasn't how much I got paid per week. That is how much I made per month. $781.06. And of course, here's the thing. I thought I was rich. I honestly couldn't believe that there was a church crazy enough out there to pay me hundreds of dollars a week to teach kids about Jesus. I'm just thankful to have a job. Now, I wasn't qualified for the position. I didn't have any experience or training or credentials, and yet they hired me anyway. They gave me an opportunity. And I was just so grateful. I made $10,000 that first year in ministry. And I spent $8,600 of those dollars on my very first apartment. Now, you should have seen this place. It was built in the 70s. It was a one-bedroom studio apartment, 600 square feet. The wallpaper on every corner of every wall was peeling off, and the carpet smelled a little bit like Chinese food. Now, it didn't have a dishwasher in it, or I guess technically speaking, I was the dishwasher, but I loved the place. I used to invite people to come over on Fridays for movie nights. I had my Pink Floyd posters all up on the walls. It was so exciting to me. I thought I lived in a palace. I was just so grateful to have a place I could call my own, my very first apartment. You know, it's funny, the house I live in now, it's 5 times as large as that apartment I had back then. But if I'm honest with you, most of the time I think it feels a little small. And in terms of financial resources, I have 10 times as much money as I did back then, but now I worry about it. And if someone offered to pay me $781.06 to teach kids about Jesus for a month, well, I'm honestly afraid that I might say that's just not enough. You know, sometimes it feels like my 22-year-old self knew more about life than my 38-year-old self does. Sometimes it feels like in accumulating more over the past 16 years, on achieving more, that somewhere along the way I've lost something that I used to have before. Gratitude. It's one thing money can't buy. It's the one thing that you'll never get by working harder or faster or doing more. Gratitude is not for sale. But here's the thing. Without it, well, you can never be rich. So the scripture says one day Jesus was traveling on the region between Samaria and the Galilee, when from a distance a crowd of 10 lepers called out to him. Now these are 10 people who had their entire lives torn apart by a disease that had consumed them. These are 10 people who had nothing, no options, no resources, no one to take care of them because they had been living on the fringes of society. These are 10 people in desperate need of healing, and Jesus gave it to them. They cried out, they said, "Lord, have mercy on us." And Jesus did. And he healed them. He healed all 10 of them. But only one of them came back to say thank you. Only one of the 10, a Samaritan, came back to express gratitude. The other 9 just seemed to wander away. Now, I don't think the other 9 were bad people by any means. I don't think they did anything wrong in the scripture. I just wonder if maybe they moved on too quickly. Maybe the other 9 lepers were so excited that they wanted to go on to bigger and better things, and, well, maybe they forgot about the gift that had been given to them. Jesus had offered them more healing than they had ever had in their entire lives, and yet I can't help but wonder if 9 of the 10 of them lost something along the way. Maybe that's why Jesus said to the 10th leper, "Get up, go on your way. Your faith has made you well." It's because gratitude is a choice. It's a decision that you have to make. No one else can be grateful for you. No one can say thank you in your place. You and only you can be grateful. You see, 10 lepers were healed that day, but only 1 leper was saved. Gratitude has the power to save us. I'm reminded of a story the great Rabbi Abraham Heschel tells of experiencing a heart attack in his mid-60s that nearly cost him his life. Heschel said that when he woke up from the heart attack, he was so weak, he could barely speak. One of his friends, a man named Sam, came to visit him, and Heschel said to him, "Sam, the strangest thing has happened to me." He said, "When I woke up in the hospital, I realized the first feelings I had were not feelings of anger or despair. Instead, they were feelings of gratitude. Gratitude for every day of my life. Gratitude for all the ways God has been with me. Gratitude for all the miracles I have seen." Yes, 10 lepers were healed that day, but only 1 leper was saved. Gratitude has the power to save us. Save us from what? Well, it can save us from our own selfishness. It can save us from our own entitlement. It can save us from the disease of more that has consumed our society. Get up, Jesus says. Your faith has made you well. Now, I know we've all lost a lot over the last 6 months. I know that there has been a disease that has consumed our society, and nothing is the same anymore. But I hope you recognize that you are still blessed. Now, I hope your heart is still filled with gratitude for all the ways that God continues to give to you. I hope you look around and see all the miracles that are taking place around you. Because gratitude has the power to save us. Gratitude has the power to transform us from the inside out. And that gratitude, well, it can never be taken away. I'll close with a story. A couple years ago, a newspaper reporter from Newsweek wrote a story on the growing homeless population on the boardwalk of Coney Island. The reporter's name was Anna Quinlan, and she interviewed several homeless men and women who called Coney Island their home. She talked to them about panhandling in the streets there. And she talked to them about hiding in the crowds there when the police came looking for them. And she talked to them about sleeping in the churches when the weather got too cold. Now, for her story, Anna talked to a homeless man who spent all day seated on a park bench on the boardwalk of Coney Island, which faced the ocean. And she asked the man why he didn't leave. She asked him why he would just stay there all day and not check himself into the hospital for detox, not try to make it into rehab, not try to better his life. And the man just looked at her. Then he looked out to the water. And he said, "Why don't I leave?" Well, just look at the view, young lady. Look at the view. Yes, gratitude. Gratitude is the one thing money cannot buy. So may your hearts not be filled with despair or anger this day. Instead, may your hearts be filled with gratitude for all the ways that you have been blessed. May you be overwhelmed by the ways that God has offered you healing and wholeness and new life, and for the miracles that continue to take place around you. May you take time today to look out on the vista of God's love. Yes, 10 lepers were healed that day, but only one leper was saved. Rise and go on your way, Jesus said. Your faith has made you well.